Good day, everybody. Welcome to today's video. This is Jay from BackCountry Wrenching. In today's video, we got the JK in the garage. And we're still in that deep freeze. It was supposed to be super warm out, but unfortunately it isn't. And I'm kind of glad that my pet sitter's gone because I was going to go backcountry camping tomorrow. And yeah, the weather forecast is supposed to be like 0 degrees, but still going to be like minus 15, minus 20. So it's not going to happen. Speaking of which, something I need to get, but I haven't got, is proper winter footwear for camping in the wintertime, because I've used my green boots, my rubber boots, and I have a pair of winter work boots, but trying to find something like a winter hiker or something that I could wear. I was at Cabela's today. They had these boots that were on sale for like $100 off. But the problem is that the backs I felt were too tall for something to be camping with. If you're going to be gathering wood, if you're going to be walking around. But I understand why they're tall, is to keep the snow and all that out and provide a lot of warmth. But I needed something that could slip on and off easy for getting in and out of the tent, so I'm not tracking snow in the tent. And these boots that I was looking at, which were a great deal, you could not drive with them on. So I'm looking for something. I don't know if you guys have any ideas that help out, but... Well, I didn't get any boots at Cabela's. I picked up this thermometer, Cabela's cooler for winter camping, and this Plano crate I'm going to use for something else. So I've had this Jeep a few years now, and it's got a dual battery setup. It's got Genesis first generation dual battery setup, and I'm going to change that out. It does have the G screen, which is actually pretty cool. Loving my new digital dash. So for those who aren't familiar, how the Genesis dual battery system works is that you can run all your accessories off your auxiliary battery, and once that voltage drops too low between the two batteries, your main battery will disconnect from the auxiliary. That way you always have an option to start. And it also works vice versa. So that way it always allows for the secondary battery to start for the most part. Unless you run it off your auxiliary battery and you kill it and somehow you have a power drain on your main battery, then yeah, it's not going to help you. But in theory, like if you're overlanding or something using your accessories, you can run down the second battery and then the main one will cut off. And it works great. But like I said, this is the first generation. So this is the latest model right here. This is a Genesis 3rd Gen, as you can see. You got your switch right there, auto, off, on. We're going to have it on the auto. Positive, negative. I think in the end this will be a far better setup. It's cleaner. So the only problem that I may have is the way this one's set up. Your battery terminal is going to come out the front. Where this one here, you got your positive on this side, negative on this side, so we may have some issues with length of wire. We're about to find that out. But before I start dismantling this, I just want to put a meter on it, and I want to see if there's any power loss somewhere. And for that, I got this old school Mac Tools, because it's got a low amp probe and a high amp probe, so I'll be able to measure the amperage really low without trying to disconnect anything. So what I want to do is just see if there is, it says there's 1 amp coming off that one. 1 amp. Bet you that is the one for the USB. And it's on full time. I'm actually gonna think about changing that because it brings down my battery. You know, 1 amp over a period of time. All right, that's what I'm gonna do. I just want to test that. I want to pull this one out. I want to test that by pulling this one out and verify that the USB is now off. So if my predictions are correct, that should be off, and it is. That's what it is. So I think what I'll do is I'll rewire to the aux beam switch panel over there, because I got 2 fuse taps in here. One is to run the fuel pump and the auxiliary fuel tank, and one is to run the ignition to the aux beam switch panel. This is the aux beam switch source. Now we need to start disconnecting all the wiring, and we're going to start by doing the negative cables and then start disconnecting everything. So I think this big cable right here is for the winch, and yeah, we're gonna have kind of a little mess going here, but we'll sort it out. All right. I got this one right here. I'm gonna disconnect it. And I got my rag. Let's get some of these wires out of the way, because we want to put a rag down so the terminal can't go back and touch itself. So now loosen this one off. Got my rag. Pull that up and shutter. I just want to verify that I have no power. No power on the dash. G screen is dead. All right, we're good to go. Guess I could start by cutting these. Zip ties, man, can be like razor blades. This is gonna be quite the mess to take apart. I will tell you though, changing batteries in this is quite the ordeal. It is. So these need to come off. That just needs to go back into itself as such. And then I need to take this apart. Oh, that one must be a 13 because that one's bigger. So it is a 13. So I'm just gonna spin that off. I need to start disconnecting all those grounds with those Phillips screws. There's a whole bunch of them, that's for sure. These 2 grounds that I'm pulling off, I know are going to be too short, so I'm going to have to cut them, put a jumper on them so I can make them reach to the other one. I don't know, what is this one for? What is this? What did I wire this ground for? That's for the radio. That's right. That's for the radio. Or is it for the radio? I don't know what that is. Where does it go? Oh, it must be for the air compressor. My bad. I'm trying to remember how I wired some of these things. So this connection is for the G screen. It's gonna come out because we have to replace it with the new one. And I got, this is actually for the USB. So only ground I have to lengthen will be this one here. And that's for the fuel pump. And fuel pump, I mean, not the fuel pump for the Jeep, but for the auxiliary tank.
I gotta take off all these positive leads now. That's for the winch. I'm gonna put these screws back in later. Be easier to fit them in once this thing's out. I just need to get all these disconnected. Looks really complicated, but it really isn't. So this positive has to come off. This little leg up here has to come off. And I think everything is disconnected to pull out. Holy crap. This one's on there tight. Oh, Jesus. Okay, that's off. I'm also gonna put a rag on there. And then one more positive terminal I got to remove. This one here. And then we're all good. So this is where I might have screwed up too, because I ordered the Gen 3 set, but I didn't order a new battery tray, because I'm hoping that the old one follows the same bolt patterns and will bolt right in. Unfortunately, we may find out something different. Okay, let's get this out of there. Perfect, it's out. It's out. Okay, I need this one. This is the G string, or the G screen, not G string. And then there's also going to be another one, which is this one right here. This is the new G screen right here. It's your ribbon cable. This is your interface module. This little sticker right here you'd use to cut it out, cable. So that part's already done. I just need to pop it out of here. I'm gonna remove the side panel. So let's see what we're getting ourselves into here. Oh, there we go. So we got our screen and our module. Just need to see how hard this is going to be to pop that out. Let's pull this. Let's get that out there. Okay, that's easy enough. I just need to feed this wire through. Probably just pull it completely through. Oh, I'm stuck on something. Probably something stuck when it's about to go through the hole. Where are you? I just had to reach underneath, grab everything out. Got the old one pulled out. I don't know if you're going to be able to see, but definitely some water intrusion in there. You can see it on this plug here, but otherwise looks exactly the same except the software is different. So we're going to go ahead and install it. Yeah, even the pins and hookup and everything else are different on this one here. This one here has 2 extra wires, not sure what it's for. So this is nice. The hole is already cut. So it's just a matter of us pushing that in. Let's get that plugged in as such. And we can feed that right there for now and run this cable up. So I pushed it out enough to grab it, but maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe gotta feed some more through. Let's see what happens now. Pushed a lot through. I'm not seeing anything. The heck. All right. I get to go fishing. There we go. There we go. Alright, stretch that across for right now. So I got a whole bunch of wire. I'm just gonna tuck in and then plug this in to such. So everything is plugged into the side there. Now, just gonna grab my little cover there, snap everything back into place, and that section's done. Moving along, the screen's installed. This is the first generation right here. It's probably been in my Jeep 8 to 10 years. Original battery cables, everything else. And this is the Gen 3, which is very clean looking. Even thicker battery cables, everything else. So it's actually way more forgiving to install. You can see it's got some slots there. So let's go ahead. Let's start mounting this up. I just want to point out too is with this setup here, the batteries were connected all the time until one fell below a certain voltage and a disconnect. But when they're connected, that red light would be on. If I needed to boost off the second battery, once they're disconnected, I'd press this button to engage it. We're on the new setup here. I'm going to leave it on auto, or I could switch it to off, which means the batteries are separated at all time, and then on, which means they'd be connected at all times. So this is the way I'm going to run it. Let's put it in, see how it's going to look. Alright, so let's see if we can get this thing in there. This is going to be the fun part. It's the way it's going to be sitting. This is the first little counter, so I'm going to have to get this main wiring harness kind of moved out of the way so the wiring harness can come up over top of this box, and it should give me enough room that I can drop it into place. All right, take two. I should have never upgraded the software on this GoPro because now it seems to have always issues. So this is put into place. It's gonna fit up there quite nicely. Perfect. And we're going to be able to get everything connected. Yeah, unfortunately, doesn't look like there's going to be any way to get around that wire sticking up. I don't know if the other battery box is the same or not, but this is for a Group 34 battery. That's where we're at. Looking good, looking good. Connect that positive, connect that positive. Then we're almost ready to let the smoke out of the wires. Gotta move some stuff out of the way here, but I want to try to get on this first post, because that third one I'd just be overlapping. But I feel that this first one would be best suited for that wire. At least that's what I'm hoping. I can get this wire bent down there. Get this smaller one up top. Tighten her down. Okay. Make sure, look at that. Look at that. Bright, brand new battery cable. Nice. Just going to use my little child's mallet. Tap it down. We're going to tighten this one up. Looking good. Looking good so far. Can start connecting wires to the bus bar. This is for the winch. It has to go in the middle one because they won't fit on the big one. Same with this one here. It has to go to the middle one. So let's just get this out. It's nice that they labeled it black and red, so you can't screw it up, hopefully. Because that would suck. I don't know if I like it going up over like that. I don't know if I like it rubbing against there either. There, screen's plugged in. So let's recap where I'm at. This long length of wire right here is for the USB that I said before we're going to connect to the aux beam. Got the wire tied off. The negatives are still disconnected. So this is for the radio inside, but I just realized that it has a glass fuse, so tomorrow I'm going to cut it out and weld this mini blade fuse in. This is the circuit breaker for the aux beam. Wired in, winch cable. Negative for the winch cable. The ground for the fuel pump, secondary fuel pump, is right there. I didn't have to add an extension, even though I made an extension because I thought I was going to have to solder it in. These wires are for the air compressor in the rear. I'm changing out to a different style of air compressor, and it's going to need different gauge wire too. This is where I'm looking. Love that new Genesis. It looks very sharp and a lot cleaner look. This is the old one. It's did its job. It's time to move on. All right, it's almost time to shut her down for the night. MJ wants to go out and get some Chinese food tonight, so pretty late getting out in the garage after he ran some errands in the morning, but managed to come out. Like I said before, man, when it's cold like this, cold and gray, it's hard to get motivated, but you gotta push yourself to get out. Turn up the heat a little bit. All right, time to head out. Hello, Carbons. How are you? Hi. Were you sleeping in your high spot? Or are you? Are you thinking about attacking? Are you thinking about biting me? Because you like to attack. You do. You like to play bite. How you doing? Ah, there we go. Attack. Attack. Vicious. Vicious. Yeah, I'm kind of glad I didn't go out camping today. Still like minus 20. Sure not hitting the minus 5 degrees like it was supposed to. Alright. Let's get back to work on this. Finish this project off. Yesterday I came in, got pretty much the whole new 3rd generation Genesis dual battery system connected. I'm going to cut this glass fuse out. We're going to solder this one in place and then hook up the negative battery terminals and then get everything else figured out. Like I said before, we're not going to worry about this. Snap-on wire strippers. Actually, well, I'm not a fan of buying brand name tools anymore, but these snap-on wire strippers are probably the best I've ever used. I think it's time to let the smoke out of the wires and see what happens. Let's get this install finished. Alright, let's get this one on. Something powered up there. I saw the green light come on, then went out. I thought this would be harder to do up, but it's not. So now, this is the main one. Let's get that down. That's the, something just powered up. Sound like the two-way radio. And this is the other ground strap off the Genesis. So let's tighten it up. All right. There we go. It's all connected. So I have it set on auto. So you come inside here. Main battery, 12.1. Auxiliary, 12.2. It's on auto. I just have to hold this button down. And I can adjust the LCD. If I just go to any of these screens, hold it down 3 seconds, and then power it off. Love that new dash setup. I ordered the stereo, so hopefully it comes in this next week, but yeah, there we have it. This project is almost complete. The last thing I need to do is this is for the USB. And I'm going to connect it to my aux beam box here. So the only circuits I got left are the 20 amp. But I'm going to pull 20 amp fuse out. And this is my fuse kit. Had this for about 5-6 years now. Got it from Princess Auto. I think you can get these now for like $14. Or you can do what most people do is go to the junkyard and then fill your pockets full of fuses and relays. It seems to be what people do when they go to pick and pull and stuff. So just gonna cut this shorter, connect it, and we're done. First thing I'm gonna do is kind of calculate our length. So I'm gonna go right about there. Yeah, I'm gonna go right out where this tape is. Cut it. Use my good old snap-on wire strippers. Strip a couple ends off. Beauty of it is too is that they're all labeled. So you can't really screw it up positive and negative. I'm not doing a good job of getting it in the hole, and I see why now. I was putting it down too low. I should be up higher. Now, that's tight, that's tight. Let's pull these wires down a little bit, get it into place. Put that cover on, and we're done. Just got everything powered on. That's the button I'm gonna need. Right there. Because before that was on full time. And it was kind of a pain in drawing down the battery. So now, got my little sticker pack here. And I'm gonna go with camera. Because that's what it does, it charges my GoPro, which goes right there. Alright, it's motherfucking beer time. We got Good Mood Brewery. It's a porter. 5.5%. Let's crack this bad boy open. Alright, cheers everybody. Motherfucking beer time. Oh, it tastes pretty good. There's going to be some big changes coming this year. There's going to be a lot of adventures. And be a lot of adventures without my trailer because there's going to be a lot of places I don't want to take it. In a lot of places I probably don't want to set up a tent. So I'm probably going to do a 60% rear seat delete. And do a lot of stealth camping in my Jeep this year as I go out and explore. Because with my weird schedule, a lot of times I'm going to be traveling solo. So instead of setting up a tent and this and that, and just sleep in the Jeep, pack up quick, head out. But yeah, this beer is actually pretty darn good, I tell you. Back to the Genesis dual battery setup. The new setup's installed. Seems to be working well. Gonna take it out for a good rip tonight. Get the batteries good and charged up and see how it is. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, post them below. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.